Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here with another video from QGIS tutorial. Today we will explore how to create a study area map using QGIS environment. Okay, let's start. To do this, I have imported two different layers that I'm going to use them in the further process of my creating study area map. In order to do this, the first step is to use project and adding a new print layout. By clicking on that, it's gonna ask you to define a name. I'm saying study area map and click on OK. As soon as you click on OK, it's gonna give you this panel in order to do further process of creating the study area map. Here we have different options. From here we can see all these options also available at items that I'm gonna use and also further explain regarding these items. For the first step, I need to define a framework that it's gonna be printed in the final export or printing of my map. For this purpose, I need to add a shape. From add items and add shapes, we have three options: rectangle, ellipse, and also triangle. You can choose one of them. However, I'm gonna use a rectangle from this corner to the other corner, since I'm going to use whole this area for my creation, and drag the mouse and release it here. Okay, it's successfully designed. Right now we have seen a layer named rectangle that it's added here. In order to see its properties, by clicking on that, right click, and from item properties we can see the further information regarding this layer. For example, here we have the type of layer that I explained before, and also corner radius, and it's a style that it's white. However, we can use different color in order to change it. If I use this one, it's gonna change completely. However, I'm gonna put it again on white. Also, we have here different options that we can use them. However, the most important one is that. Okay, the next step is to add different frames for different maps. For example, I'm gonna back to my QGIS main environment. Here I have two different layers. For example, I want to put this one in one layer, and in another frame I'm gonna use this one. Okay, first I want to put both of them in one layer. Go back to the frame. For this purpose, I can go to the item again. From add map, I can do this and drag in a where that you are interested in having these options. For example, I want to have like this. Okay, very good. As you can see, it's added successfully. Here you need to pay attention to this point. The time you add it to this one, you need to lock it, lock the layer, since if I add another one, by the time that I refresh my screen, it's gonna change. However, to prevent from this error, I'm gonna lock this layer again. As you can see, it's added to my panel as a new layer. And again, I can use item properties. Here we have further information regarding this frame, its scale, and also its CRS. Here, as I said before, I need to lock the layers. because I'm gonna prevent from further movement of my layer that I'm gonna do in the future. Until now it's okay. I'm gonna give you some explanation regarding different items that we have here. I told you about the layers. Lock layer is the most important one, and you need to lock them by one. Extend dimensions to the frame that you have. Another important one is grade that I will use in the next frame. Here we have different options. From here I can add a new grade. I can remove the grade. I can copy the duplicator grade, or I can move them up and down. The next options, and also important one, is frame. As you can see, there is no any border around my frame. However, by activating this one, I can have this border, and from color I can change the color of border to the other color, or I can change the thicknesses of them. For example, I can increase the thickness, and also I can change the unit. It's up to you to do this. However, I'm not going to have this frame for my layer. Another important part is background that I explained before. Since the background is white, I can change it to the other color that I'm interested. However, I'm gonna leave it in default. I don't have anything to do with this layer. Right now, I'm gonna go further and add the other layer. In order to have this layer as a separate one, I will deselect this one, zoom in a little, back to the panel, from add items again, add map, and drag. Okay, very good. As you can see, it's successfully added. Right now I can use these options to a little zoom in or zoom out, depends on you. You can do this. However, I don't want to do further. Right now I want to add grid and also frame to this frame that I have here. Again, I'm gonna lock this layer too. From lock layers, I have these options. Further information regarding this frame is available here. Extend, layer, and also its scale. Okay, very good. Until now it's okay. As I said before, I want to add a grade to this frame. From add a new grade, I can do this. Select the added grades and use modify. By selecting modify, we have different options here. For example, from the appearance, frame, from throw coordinates, and so on. First, I'm going to work a little with appearance that is related to the appearance of your frame. Here we have grade types, as you can see here. We have solid, cross, markers, and frame. I'm gonna use this one. However, you can choose one of them that you are interested. First, I think it's better to add a frame to my frame. I mean a border to my frame. Then I can continue to work a little on the appearance because it's gonna be more useful for you. For this, I'm gonna back. from frame. I'm gonna add a frame. I did it. I increased the thickness to 50. It's okay right now. I come back to the grade, select on that, modify grade. Okay, very good. Until now, it's okay. And right now, I can work easily on that in order to be more understandable. Grade type, I use this one. However, you can choose one of them. We leave them these in default since I'm not gonna do anything on them. In intervals, you can add intervals that it's gonna add a coordinate system outside your frame. For this one, for example, I'm going to use 1. We can see the difference. However, I think it's nothing. I want to show you the problem. Why it's not happening, why it's not adding the coordinate system. The problem is here. If you activate this one, that you need to activate first, then you come back to the appearance and add your intervals. For example, for X, I'm gonna put 5, that it's too much. Let's do this. This one is okay. The same thing for X. Okay, as you can see, they are added. However, we have some meaningless position of our coordinate. I'm gonna change them and also work them a little. And also here we have some offsets that we can use them. For example, this one, as you can see here, it's gonna change a little the position of my coordinate system. Okay, I will leave it in 5. I don't need to increase it. Go down. From frame, we don't need to change anything. However, if you want, you can use it. Here we have linear borders. Since I did this duty before I came here, I don't need to use that one. One of the most important part is this, draw coordinates. Here is asking about the format. If I open this option, it's gonna give me plenty of formats. You can use decimal. However, I'm gonna use this one. It's more easiest and also more comfortable. Or you can use this one or this one. Okay, very good. The next question is that in the left side of my frame, it's asking me, you want to show all of them? Yeah, I'm saying show all of them. You can use these options, show just latitude, longitude, or disable that one. In the next options, it's going to ask me where do you want to put your coordinate system. I'm saying outside frame. You can use inside. If it's gonna be inside, it's gonna be inside your frame. However, outside is better. And the other one is related to position of your coordinate system. It's written by default to be horizontal. However, horizontal is not good. Here I'm using vertical ascending. As you can see here, it's successfully added. I don't have anything to do with the left part. Right now I'm gonna back to the right part, and also I will do the same thing for right one. I will leave it in default, show all, outside frame, horizontal, it's gonna be again vertical ascending. There are other settings for top and also bottom. However, they are okay and I don't need to change them. Here we have the format. We can increase the size of our coordinate system. 12 is okay. We can change its color. If you're interested in other color, you can do this. Okay, very good. we did some appearance modification and also coordinate system for my layer. Right now, I will back. Okay, very good. We prepared the everything coordinate system and also some settings for my frame, for my this frame. Right now, I want to add new layer as the label. From add items, add label. For example, here I want to add the name of my study area, the source one. By dragging just easily these options, it's gonna be available. And also the same thing, it's gonna be here. If it's not available, you can use again, right click item properties, and you can find it here. I don't need this text. I want to change it to Italy, and you can see that it's added here successfully. If you want, you can give it a name like this, or you can add further information regarding your map. Okay, very good. We don't need to change anything, or I want to do this to say that this should be A, this A, B, because I want to put them in the caption of my, for example, manuscript or thesis. For appearances, we have different options that we can work a little on them. For example, font. You can choose the font that is your preference. From here, we have different options. For example, I'm going to use this format. The size you can increase or decrease. I'm gonna put it in 16. The color, you can change the color if you are interested. Okay, there's nothing that I can change. I don't want to change. Right now I will back. Very good. Okay, I can change the position of my label. For example, I want to put it here as A. I will do the same thing for B. Again, I will go to add items, add label here. Again, it's gonna be B. I will change the font again to 16. The size and also the font, it's gonna be Time New Roman. Very good. It has been successfully added. Right now I have A and B. In the next step, I'm gonna add north arrow to my frame. For this purpose, again, I will back to add item. And from here, we have add north arrow. By clicking on that and dragging into my frame, it's gonna be added successfully. I added for this one. Right now, I will do the same thing for the second one in this part. In order to do some further modification on that. By clicking on that, it's going to be appear here, and you can do some modification for your arrow. If you want to use the other options, they are available here. For example, this one, you just need to click on them and it's going to be available for you. For example, here we have different options. I don't want to change it. I leave them in default. In the next step, I'm going to add a scale for my frames. Again, from Add Items, add a scale bar. Again, I will drag my mouse. It's added successfully. And also it's added as a layer. Just click on Item Properties. Back here, from Properties, we can define the map. Since it's gonna be for map 1, this one, I don't want to change it. It's asking the style, single styles, double box, and I leave it in default. Units, it's asking you about the unit. There are plenty of units here, but I'm preferring kilometers. However, you can use meters, miles, and so on. Label unit multiplier, it's asking you about the label unit. You can leave them in default here. It's asking about the label for units. As you can see, it's km. However, you can choose it. You can change and write, for example, kilometers. However, I will leave them in default and go back. Go to the next items. From segments, we have segments left 1, left 0, right 2. Here is the most important options is this one. Fit segment with this one. You can decrease this one if you are interested, or you can leave them in default. Depends on you. Okay, very good. However, if you want to use one, also you can use this one. I don't want to use that one, so I will leave it in default. It's asking about the height of your scale bar. If you are interested, you can increase it. From appearance, we have the options to change the color of primary fill, means this part, and secondary means this part. If you are interested, you can choose it to another color. As you can see, it's changed it. From appearance, I think the most important one was this. And also we have frame. If you are interested in having a frame for your scale bar, you can use it again. As explained it before about the frame. Also background. If you want, you can add a background to your scale bar. However, I don't want to do anything for the scale bar, and I will do the same thing. I mean, adding the scale bar to my map 2, again from add items and add a scale bar. This is for map 2. You can change the position by just dragging the scale bar. However, I don't want to do some modification on that. I leave it in default. And the last important one is related to legend. If you back to the main screen of QGIS, you can see the legend, it's gonna be the name and also its color. For this layer, I'm gonna add a legend, and from add item, add legend again. Just I need to drag, and as you can see, they are successfully added to scanning, and also as the second layer and the main one as IT. Like all the layers that I added before, we have these options to modify and do some modification on our layer. Again, from layer, legend, this time we can use item properties. We can give it a title, for example, source maps. I'm gonna give it. It's asking about the map number. I'm saying for map 1. This is the arrangement of, let's say, symbol. It's gonna be from left, or you can choose another, let's say, options. Here we have an auto update. That means that it's gonna, if you do some change in the main QGIS environment regarding your source data, it's gonna be changed here because it's linked to that one. Okay. Until now it's okay. Right now I can go to the font and text. Here I can choose another title, another font if you are interested, for example. And also here it's possible to change the size. Change it successfully. The size, I want this size. The color is gonna be black. Back. Again. As you can see here, we have different titles, headlines, headings. This is for group, this is a subgroup, and item labels. Since I have item labels, I'm gonna do the same thing, change the format, but I don't want to change the size. Time. Let's change it successfully right now. Again, I will back to the main appearance. For changing these, that it's gonna be your item labels, you can use these options. Here we have symbols that you can increase its width, height, or size, depends on your preference. Column, since we have one column, we don't need to add or delete something. If you have more classes, more labels, you can divide them into 3 columns. And also frame, as I said before, you can add a frame to your legend. And also background, you can choose it. However, I will leave them in default. Go to the next frame. Again, I will do the same thing for this one by adding legend. Here we can see that it's added successfully right now. However, I don't want to have the second one since it's from source file. For this one, I click on that, and I'm saying study area. I give it a title. As I said before, I don't need this layer for this purpose. If I come down a little, I have these options to move up and down add new layer, or I can delete this one. As you can see, I can easily delete this layer. I have only this one. Right now I will go further in order to change the font of this layer. For title, I will give another Time New Roman. That's it. I don't want to change the size. For item labels also we will do the same thing. Very good. We don't need to add anything. This is the simple way how to create a study area map using QGIS environment. Now the final way is to export your map in different formats. For this purpose, I can go to layout, from export as image, define an output. If you want, you can change the file name. Here we have different types. For example, I'm gonna save my map as a JPEG and save it. By clicking on save, it's gonna give you some options regarding the export. Export resolution is the most important one. Usually DPI less than 300 is not acceptable in academic way. For this, try to put it more than 300. I will put on 700 because I need the high resolution. And right now I can save my map. As you can see, it successfully saved. Right now I can go to the folder and click on the map that you saved. Very good. As you can see, this is the final map that I saved. I hope the content of this video will be useful for you. If you like these types of video, please like the video and also subscribe to my channel in order to be notified regarding the future videos from my channel. Thank you very much for your attention.